Hello and welcome back to Sonny Talks Spurs, and today I'm going to be reacting to and giving my thoughts on Ange Postecoglou's interview with Optus Sport. But before we get into this one, if you are new to the channel, why don't you leave a like on the video, subscribe to Sonny Talks Spurs, hit the notification bell so it alerts you when I've gone live on the channel, and also link in the description down below. You can become a member of Sonny Talks Spurs, and for 99p a month get exclusive access to my podcast, Nice One Sonny. But enough of that stuff. Let's get into talking about this interview. And this interview sort of came a bit out of nowhere. I was quite surprised, considering our run of form. We all know our run of form at the moment. 4 losses on the bounce. One of our worst runs. We've not lost 4 on the bounce since 2004. Losses to Newcastle, to Arsenal, to Chelsea, and most recently Liverpool. We need 2 wins out of our last 3 to secure Europa League football. It's a big time at the football club, but Ange Postecoglou sat down with fellow Aussie and former Premier League, Chelsea, Fulham goalkeeper Mark Schwarzer to just, reflect on his recent run of form, the Premier League season so far, and a few other things. And before we start, I want to give my initial thoughts on it and just, fair play. He didn't have to do this interview, No one was, the way Ange is in the media, I respect. He has a good, he's got a good wit, and I like how he handles himself with questions. But, he's done this sit-down interview. It's about 12 minutes long. You can go and obviously watch the full one. But to start, I'm just going to put some of the best bits, I'd say, and some of the key terms, and then I'm going to react to certain bits and certain quotes, which I loved from Postecoglou.
That's what, you're trying to... I think it's important that you don't dismiss it, because I think feeling the pain of what we're going through now is important. That's how you get growth, because there's no point saying, oh boys, we had a great season, don't worry, we've lost 4 games. And I think that's, you're breeding the wrong kind of sort of culture within the place. Is you've got to feel the loss, you've got to feel the pain of a loss, and 4 losses is not great in any situation. So you need to feel the pain of that, but ultimately it's still about where we're heading and where we've come from. And when you look at our starting point at the start of the year, which, people have kind of not forgotten or dismissed, but because of our start to the season, we had such a great start. But that start wasn't our starting point. Our starting point was a lot further back than that. And we've made, we've made some decent progress, and we're, coming to the end of the season, we've still got 3 games, which we have to finish strong and get some results. But come back first day of pre-season, we'll be much further down the road. Well, you get the opportunity to see it, So, because if things are always going well, how do you know? And I said I think it was at the first meeting, I said, there will come a point where we hit a real stumbling block this year. We're going to hit some forks in the road, and we're going to fall over. And through that time, it'll reveal how much conviction we have in what we're doing. I said, it will come. It might come at the start, might come in the middle, might come at the end. That'll be a good opportunity for us, not just for players, but for coaches, for the whole club, for all of us to see, well, how do we deal with this, knowing we've gone off in a different direction now? How much belief and conviction have we in this direction now that the time is the toughest? So, like I said, you don't manufacture, but it's a necessary part of the process. You need to see how people are going to react to difficult times, difficult challenges. So, and it's not just the players, it's the coaches, it's everyone involved in the football club. How's everyone reacting to 4 losses, Is people's demeanour different? Are they talking different? Are they, because this will be here again next year, maybe in a different form. Maybe it'll be we're going for a title. The pressure's there then. So the pressure will always be, it's how you deal with it. So times like this is great for me and I'm always alert, but I'm hyper alert now as to how's everyone going through this, This is, and I've said it before, this is a bit I love, mate, because otherwise I feel this is my purpose. Like if I'm not going to be enjoying or being at my best when the times are toughest, then why am I here? Because ultimately then you put it into autopilot and let it go. Like that's my function. So you don't, like I said, you don't manufacture bad times. You don't try and create this scenario. But when this scenario presents itself, and it always will, it has for my whole career, then that's when I need to be, not at my best, but certainly at my most, like I said, alert and at my most visible, if I can put it that way. Because you know me well, is that a lot of my coaching is very, and my relationships are very kind of You know, I'm very empowering in the people around and give them responsibility. I'm not in their faces, but in these times, I want to be more visible than anybody else in the club. This has got to be about me now, so I've got to lead the way out. So, like I said, I don't. It's not enjoyable when you're going through it, but part of me loves this part of the process. Yeah, and it was never going to happen in 2 transfer windows. Because what you've got to remember is when I came in at the beginning of the year, the team had finished 8th last year, but it wasn't 8th of a team that was on the climb. It was 8th for a team that was kind of going in the other direction, because a lot of their players were kind of getting to the age where it was time for the next challenge, right? And then you've lost your best player from that as well. So you've got 8th decline, you lose your best player, and by the way, we want you to totally change the way we play too, from this to the other end of the spectrum. So all those kind of factors, I knew was never going to get done in 2 transfer windows. This process of building a squad, even a starting 11, we're in the infancy of. Now, I think we've done really well in the transfer window so far, which meant we're probably further ahead than I thought we would be. But see, but people kind of dismiss that. And I remember at the time, as you will, that people weren't certain on Jurgen, they weren't certain on Mikel. They were coming from. So the fact that people are questioning me is no surprise, because we all go through that. I shouldn't be absolved from that, because that's just the nature of the Premier League. People, there's so much interest, so much scrutiny, that they're not going to give you a pass and say, well, actually, you're going well compared to these guys. No, we're going to put you under the same heat we put under those guys under, because they did. I remember Mikel was under a lot of heat for a lot of time. So was Jurgen at the beginning, So I shouldn't be absolved from that. But you're right, though, in terms of where I think we're at. I think we're in a decent space for progress. We've created a good foundation in our first year. Am I happy with the way we finished? No, I'm not. But in terms of what we're trying to build, I firmly believe we're on the right track. I can't sit here and say to them, listen, you've got to be patient for 5 years till I build this thing, even though, for the most part, that's what it takes for most of these clubs. I'm not going to say that, and I'm not going to ask them. They're allowed to be, up, and they're allowed to be down, they're allowed to be jubilant, they're allowed to be disappointed. I think for the most part, they've appreciated what we're trying to do in terms of the football we're trying to play and the way we've gone about things. But they obviously want success. And I think it's the same with the players. I think for the most part, they're in. Are they all in at the moment? No, but I wouldn't expect them to be, because that's up to me to show them the light. That what we're doing will get us to where we want to. And with all these things, I always come back to one basic premise. It's up to me to get people there, whether it's players, supporters, a club. Otherwise, I'm not going to absolve myself of that responsibility. That's on me to get people to that space.
So yeah, that's basically the gist of what he said. One of the key bits that I liked was when he said, this is the bit I love, mate. This is my purpose. And, that's what I like to hear from Ange. And the reason I get into debates in the comment section with Tottenham fans, rival fans, even people in my group chats about Postecoglou, and they say, but why wasn't Conte back? But why wasn't Mourinho back? And I'm saying because they were short-term fixes that didn't work. Postecoglou actually wants to be here. There's been reports in the media saying that he is going to be back this summer by Daniel Levy. He is going to get the players he wants. At the moment, it has gone a bit stale, and we are probably due a bit of a reset. But I back the club, and I think the club will back him, because if Daniel Levy doesn't, then we're just going to be in a rut again. And, if Daniel Levy does put profit above glory, then, he is just going to upset the fan base even more. I said it in my recent video about comments that Roy Keane and Gary Neville said. Ange is the perfect manager for Tottenham. We just need to back him and give him what he needs. Give him the keys to the Tottenham car. Unlike Mourinho and Conte, who didn't deserve it. They didn't want to be at the football club. They just weren't showing us enough. Ange cares. Ange wants to do. And I know people say, well, Conte got top 4 and Mourinho got us to a cup final. But in the long term, it would not have been good enough. They didn't want to be at the football club. And the other quote I really liked was when he said, I think we're in a decent space for progress. We've created a good foundation in our first year. Am I happy with the way we finished? No, I'm not. But in terms of what we're trying to build, I firmly believe we're on the right track. He backs it. He is all for this. He's got the players on side. I believe, the players haven't checked out. They've just, You know, we just need a reset, and some of the players are seriously not good enough. And you say there, I agree with what he says. The foundations are there. The start of the season was amazing. If the season had flipped on its head, if we started badly and ended strong, then people might have been like, oh, fair play. But the fact it's been the other way around, you know, is pretty telling. But, you know, it is the reason that Ange has been open to criticism. And I have criticised him. I think some of his certain subs recently have been quite, you know, just not good enough. And just set pieces, I think they need to be backed. But by the looks of it, we're going to make changes in the summer to rectify all of these issues. And he's not happy with it how it is at the moment. Why would he be happy with it? You know, his job is on the line in terms of his future and keeping momentum going at the club. But he has got himself focused on this football club and bringing success to Tottenham Hotspur. You can just see it. You can just see it in the way he is. You can see it by what he did during the game when he's putting his fingers to his head and like looking at the fans' heart and all that. He really does care. He's done it at every club he's been at, from Brisbane Roar, Melbourne Victory, Yokohama Marinos, and Celtic, and even the Australian national team. So people just sing his praises. He is a great coach. And, you know, people will say, like, maybe I sound like an Ange propaganda machine. I'm wearing a T-shirt again with his name on and picture. But this is the most I've backed a manager in recent times. Like, you've got to think of like the Pochettino days, and this is reminiscent of that. We didn't back Pochettino. We can't make the same mistake again. Even Pochettino's first season wasn't amazing. We finished around 5th as well. But there was moments where it wasn't good enough. Even Ange mentions in those clips, Pep, he mentions like Klopp and Arteta in a similar sort of environment and mood that was around those football clubs. I said a similar sort of thing on We Are Tottenham TV recently as well. I think there's a fan base, you know, I get comments on my videos about, you know, maybe they like getting called a happy clapper, being too positive, all that sort of stuff. And you don't know if it could be Arsenal fans trolling, you just don't know. And even like I have discussions with Arsenal fans who are my friends going like, and you know, he's out of his depth, and I was like, you were Arteta out. And now you love him. So don't tell me, like, you know, don't teach an old dog new tricks. I've seen what you've gone through, so I know, like, me backing my manager is something that you've done as well. But I think there must be a corner of the fan base who are fed up. But it's hard to gauge what fans they are, because I've even got like older fans saying to me that they've seen enough rubbish to stick by Ange, they're willing to be patient. You know, younger fans like him because of this, you know, attacking football with, you know, we've seen best out of Maddison and Son like at the beginning of the season. But I'd say if you were to put a percentage on it, I think it's like maybe like 5%. I feel like it's not as much as I think
5% Ange out.
Yeah, I think the
I'll put a poll in the comments. Let's see.
I think the fan base in general are more backing this manager, because also what I throw to people is like, what do you want next? What manager? Name me a name. And someone
Ryan Mason. Who else?
Oh, is he in charge of set pieces as well? Is he? We'll see how that goes. I just feel like I sound like a stuck record now, but I just feel like we should give it a go and just see how it plays out, because at the moment, you know, if we finish 5th in our first season with Europa League football, I think that's fantastic. You know, I understand all, like, even I read every comment, I reply to every comment, and I understand the point of view that people are coming at with Ange. But at the moment, I don't see the point of being negative about it. I think we've got to be positive and judge it at this point next season. If we're in the same style of, you know, form and not getting results, then we have to reevaluate it there. But until then, I'm going to back this manager. I'm going to hope that Levy backs him in the transfer market, and I'm going to remain positive. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What did you make of the Ange Postecoglou interview? What did you like that he said? What did you hate that he said? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. And as I said at the top of the video, if you are new around here, why don't you leave a like on the video, subscribe to Sonny Talk Spurs, hit the notification bell because it lets you know when I've gone live, and also link in the description down below. You can become a member of Sonny Talk Spurs for a 99p a month and get exclusive access to my podcast. Nice one, Sonny. But until the next video, some point, I think at the weekend, I believe, I'll see you guys then. Ciao.